What's up guys, the new Destiny expansion Edge of Fate just came out a few days ago, and if you haven't got it yet or you are thinking about getting it, I'm going to tell you my thoughts on whether it's worth buying it or not. First off, PSA, this video does have footage from the new campaign, so just in case you don't want to see it or get any leaks, feel free to just listen. The Edge of Fate kicked off the new multi-year saga of Destiny featured around the 9 and all the mysteries surrounding them. A lot of the community for a long time has wanted to know more about the 9 and what they are because they seem to play a big role in the game, but we don't know anything about them. And for a while, people thought Bungie just scrapped the whole idea of the 9 for future content. But now we know they were just saving all of that stuff for the 9 until after the final shape so they could kick off the new saga of Destiny and build more mysteries and questions like at the start of Destiny 1. A lot of the campaign seems very confusing because Bungie introduced so many new plot lines and lore that won't be fully answered for a long time. The campaign is based around the 9 and the Fallen, as well as this new weird character named Lodi, and Ikora joins us on the campaign as well on this new destination named Keplar. There is also this new-ish villain in this campaign that I won't say who it is because I don't want to spoil anything. Keplar also added a few new ways to get around the map with Matter Spark, Matter Weave, and a Void Relocator cannon. This is made possible by the stuff called Dark Matter that exists all around Sol System, but you can see it and use it in Keplar, and this is actually what the 9 are made out of. This is the first non-linear expansion in Destiny, meaning there is no specific order to play it, and if you wanted, you can do some of the campaign and do the side quests as they get unlocked, or you could just save all of them for after the campaign. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the campaign because I still do want to save some stuff for you to find out if you do decide to buy the Edge of Fate. Now, do I think the campaign alone is worth the money? For me, definitely. I'm a big lore nerd and a lot of lore and plots have been created, so on just that aspect alone is why buying the Edge of Fate is worth it to me. I found the story and the campaign itself really fun, but like I said, the story does get a bit confusing because this is a new saga, and so there's going to be a lot that's confusing right now. If you're worried about that, don't be, because it's not anything like Lightfall where they just rambled on about the radial math and the Veil like we already knew what it was. But honestly, the mysteries is what made me enjoy the campaign even more because I was able to come up with new theories based off just little things that characters say, and so I'm not upset that the story is kind of all over the place. So is the campaign alone worth your money? For me, definitely, but my friend did say that she was kind of mixed if the campaign alone was worth the $100 that she paid. Now, if you do get the $100 bundle, you're not just paying for this campaign, you're paying for this content as well as the content that comes out with the second expansion this year, Renegades, in December, along with all the bonuses that you usually get for the $100 bundle. Each expansion alone is $40 at least here in the US. There's also a $60 option that comes with both expansions. But I would suggest if you are able to spend the extra money, get the $100 bundle. You're definitely getting your money's worth out of it because you get all of the content and rewards passes along with all the extra stuff. If I did the math, you would roughly get $120 to $130 worth of stuff just for buying the $100 bundle. And no, I'm not getting paid by Bungie to tell you to spend more money on the game. I'm just telling you what's going to be worth your money if you are wanting to buy the Edge of Fate. With the new saga of Destiny, a lot of stuff has been changed, and the best way to explain it is like a soft reboot of the game. Bungie has heard a lot of our complaints about too many weapons and armor in the game, so they did a kind of soft sunsetting. And no, it's not like what you think. All of your weapons and armor that you already have are still usable, they are just not as good. And so the first thing I'm going to touch on about this is the weapons and the new tier system. From this point forward, all guns are going to be a part of this system. You're not going to be able to enhance perks like you can with other guns, but instead guns can drop with both perks already enhanced and extra perks depending on what tier gun you get. There are 5 tiers of guns that you can get, and the harder of content you do is how the higher tier guns will drop. Tier 1 is just going to be your basic gun with one non-enhanced perk in the 3rd and 4th column. And tier 2 weapons are going to be the exact same thing, but your 2 perks are going to be enhanced. Tier 3 is where you're really going to start to see a difference in power compared to the other 2. Tier 3, you're going to have 2 sets of perks in each column, and all 4 of them are going to be enhanced. Tier 4 makes it even better because you're not only going to have 2 perks in each column, but your 2 barrel options are also going to be enhanced. Another thing with Tier 4 is that your 2 mag options are going to be enhanced as well. Tier 5 is going to be the best guns you can get because it's going to have all the same stuff as Tier 4 with the barrels and mags being enhanced, but it's also going to give you 3 fully enhanced perks in each column. We most likely won't be seeing any of these guns for a while into the year because you have to do some of the hardest content and add a bunch of modifiers to be able to obtain these Tier 5 weapons. Now we are going to be moving on to the armor because this is the thing that got changed the most in the Edge of Fate. The armor stat categories are no longer mobility, resilience, recovery, discipline, intellect, and strength. But instead, Bungie wanted to make it more clear of what these armor stats do, so they opted to change them to health, melee, grenade, super, class, and weapon. But now you aren't just capped at 100, but you can go all the way up to 200. Another thing is that with every stat point past 100 is going to count towards buffing that category. Bungie's main goal with that is make it to where there isn't any wasted stat points, because before you only got a buff when you went in multiples of 10. So if I had 99 recovery, it would have the same effect as if I had 90. The new armor that drops in the Edge of Fate also has the same 5-tier system as the weapons, with the higher of a tier you obtain being how you get rolls of higher stat armor to drop. Another new change is that every armor piece you get is going to have a category name corresponding to what stat has the most points. Health is going to be Bulwark, Melee is Brawler, Grenade is Grenadier, Super is Paragon, Class is Specialist, and Weapon is Gunner. This system makes it overall easier to focus a certain category because once you see a category name, you will instantly know what stat has the most points. One last thing that got added to armor is set bonuses. Set bonuses are different perks on all new armor that you'll unlock by wearing 2 to 4 pieces of the same armor set. And if you are still confused on the new Armor 3.0 changes or you don't know what armor stat to focus, I have a great tool for you to use. It's a website called Armor Genius, and all you have to do is put in the main stat that you want, then a secondary stat, and you can even put in a third stat as well if you wanted. And then it will give you a full breakdown on what stat points you want to try to get on every armor piece, including your exotic armor piece. I'm not sponsored, but it's a great tool to use, and it's what we always wanted D2 Armor Picker to be. So if you want to try it, I'll have it linked in the description below. I think these new changes to armor and weapons is the best possible idea Bungie had to combat the amount of guns and armor to get us to use all of the new things without just sunsetting everything. Because for especially armor, we had everything we wanted, had everything that worked, so we just dismantled all of the new stuff. Because for example, why am I going to try and get the God Roll Hammerhead when I have Commemoration crafted that does the exact same thing with maybe some minor differences? So I do think this is the best thing Bungie could have done regarding this issue, and like I said, your old armor and weapons aren't garbage, they'll just be a bit worse than the new tier 5 things. Now let's talk about the portal a little bit, because it's the thing that Bungie made the biggest deal out of and said it's the new evolution of the destination screen. And it's just another way to simplify things. All the new content that comes out is going to be on this portal tab instead of in the director. At this point, there is so much going on in the director that even veteran players get a bit confused and forget where certain activities are. And it seems like a lot of the changes in Edge of Fate were done to simplify the game a bit and make it less intimidating for new and returning players. The final thing that I'm going to be talking about is the raid. Yep, good old DP.
What did he say?
Desert Perpetual, or DP, is the newest raid that just came out a few days ago, and people have some things to say about it, including me. I haven't done this raid yet, and by what I saw in the raid race and all the videos I've been seeing about it, I don't know if I want to. Desert Perpetual is the first non-linear raid as well, and you can choose to do any of the first 3 bosses in any order you want. But this raid is so miserably hard, I feel like we're going to have another Salvation's Edge thing again. There are still so many people, including me and my clan, that have never completed Salvation's Edge because of how hard and mechanic intensive it is. But Desert Perpetual has the opposite kind of issue, because these bosses are the biggest damage checks we have ever seen in Destiny. We had raid teams of the most skilled raiders in all of Destiny that couldn't even do 1/5 of the boss's health, and they had to have the perfect damage rotation to be able to do just that. So if you messed up one small thing, that's a wipe and they restart. It doesn't help that the damage numbers are so small now that when you felt like you would be doing at least 3 million damage normally, you would look and you would only have 11k at most. So what does that mean for the rest of the Destiny community? Because yeah, we aren't playing on contest mode, but it's still going to be just as hard for us, because most of us aren't as coordinated and we don't have a ton of hours to just play the game. And if raids continue to be like this, it's going to kill raiding for the large majority of Destiny players. I feel like it's gotten to the point where Bungie is only listening to the top players that say make stuff harder. And even then, those people are also saying that it's getting way too out of hand. I love doing raids and harder content, but it's bad when I just don't have any interest to do any of the new raids just because of how hard they are. And I feel like a lot of people will probably agree with me. I'm sorry this video has taken me a while to get out, but I wanted to make sure I played all of the content and understood everything before making a video about it. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, comment down below if you're enjoying the Edge of Fate.